All right, what's going on, friends? In this video, I'm going to be going over this Husqvarna, and I have the YTH22V46, which 46 just means it has a 46-inch deck. So if you have any of the Husqvarnas, this is going to be really similar. I'm going to go over around 12 things that you could check before you decide to take this to like a small engine repair shop or a mower shop to get it fixed because it will not start. Let's get started. All right, first thing I want to show you is this right here. If you ran this mower last year, you know what this definitely is. This is what's going to engage your blades, and your blades are going to start spinning. But this mower will not start if you have your blades engaged. So if this handle is all the way up here, put it down here, because it will not start if they are engaged. All right, next thing I want you to check will be your battery. Make sure the wires are connected tightly, your negative and your positive. The negative should be connected to the one that has a negative symbol, and the positive, the red wire, should be connected to the where there's a plus. So make sure they're not backwards. Make sure they're not corroded. If they're corroded, you could take these back off and maybe take a little small wire brush and try to clean them up and put them back on. Make sure they're tight, like I said. And while we're under here, you could also use a multimeter to check them. Now both of these are multimeters. I'll put maybe one or two of these down in the description. If you guys don't have one, they're really not that expensive. If you have this type of multimeter, you're going to just put it to volts. Right over here, there's a V, there's a 200, there's a 20. Let's put it on 20 because this is only going to go up to about 12.4, 12.6. Now I'm going to use this one and just put it on volts, and it's volts DC. Okay, I have it on volts DC, and I'm going to put my red lead onto the positive, my black lead onto the negative. There, I have 12.4 volts. That could be reading 12.4, 12.6, somewhere around there. If you're definitely reading under 12 volts, either your battery is dead or your battery is bad. You could just try maybe hooking up a battery charger to this. I'll put a link to the battery charger that I have down in the description. You can give it a nice slow charge and see if that'll charge this up, and hopefully it holds a charge. Or you could take this out and maybe take it to auto parts store, and they'll be able to check it for you and let you know if that battery is bad. All right, while you're under your seat, another thing you can check, because if you went through the winter, maybe some mice or something might have got up under here and started chewing on some of these wires. Make sure this is plugged in. This is your safety switch for when you're sitting on your seat. So just check that out also. That's everything under the seat. All right, another thing, just so you did not forget, when you do jump on your mower, don't forget you do have to push in your brake. Make sure your blades are disengaged, like I said, and then you can try to start your mower. And if your engine is definitely cold, make sure you have the throttle here all the way up into the choke position. That's all the way at the top. So when the engine fires up, then disengage the choke by pulling it back down into like the little turtle here, or maybe halfway between. You can feel where it stops there. Another thing you could check would be your air filter. Right under here is your air filter. If you have not cleaned this thing out, say like last summer, all summer, this air filter could be pretty dirty. Undo these. Now you could take an air compressor or something and blow this out, or maybe even take a vacuum cleaner and just try to suck some of the dirt out of it. Or you could just go buy a brand new filter. Right here's your air filter. Probably should pull right off of there. Just like that. Make sure that's not real dirty. A lot of these things that I'm going over, even if these are not your problem, it can't not hurt to like clean this air filter or clean things up. This mower will run a lot nicer if things are clean. While we're on this side of the engine, make sure your spark plug is plugged in really good. That's another thing. If you've had your mower, say, maybe 4 or 5 years and you've never changed these spark plugs, it might not hurt to take out and change, because maybe that's why your mower is not starting good. You have a spark plug on this side, and you have one on the other side. They can come unplugged, just like that. Another thing you could check, if you've never changed your fuel filter and you've been running your mower, say 4, 5, 6 years, that's another thing. If that's dirty, your mower will not start. This is your fuel filter. Real simple. You're just going to take this little clamp, squeeze that together with some pliers, and pull that side off. Same with this side. And then if you do change it out, make sure you look at the fuel filter, because there is an arrow on here somewhere. Yeah, this one feels like it's on the bottom. But once you take that off, there's going to be an arrow. So make sure the new one that you would get, you put the fuel filter on the same way. All right, I hope I don't have to tell you this, but if you don't have any fuel in your tank, your mower's not going to start. Another thing about your fuel, if you have fuel in here and it was sitting all winter, fuel in there, and you did not put no stabilizer in there, especially if you're running ethanol fuel in there. I have a gas station near me that sells non-ethanol fuel, so now I buy all non-ethanol fuel, which would run in these mowers a lot nicer. If you could find somewhere you can buy non-ethanol fuel, that'd be a lot better for these mowers. But if you have old gas in there, you could maybe try getting all that gas out. You're going to have to siphon that out, put brand new gas in maybe. But if you do have old gas in there, if you let that old fuel sit in there with no stabilizer in there, you may have gummed up your carburetor. If it is that, you may want to take this to a small engine repair shop if you think it could be your carburetor. All right, like I said, when you go to start this for the first time and the engine is cold, you're going to want to have this up on choke. And if you can almost smell the gas, or you may have flooded your lawnmower. So if you flooded it and you're starting to smell gas, just stop trying to start your mower and let it sit for 15 or 20 minutes, and then try to start it again. And if it does not start, it may be, like I said before, with your fuel. If you have old fuel in there, it probably has something to do with your carburetor. All right, last thing I want you to check would be your fuse and some of the wires on this mower. If this sat all winter, you could have got some mice into your mower and they decided to chew some of your wires up. So I'm going to just show you real quick a few places that you could check some of your wiring. First off, the fuse in this thing. If you read the manual, I think it says in the manual it's behind the dash. I don't know where in the world they're talking about for the dash, but I'll show you where the fuse is at. It's a 20 amp fuse. All right, the fuse is in behind this tire. We'll see it right there. That right there is your fuse. That's a 20 amp fuse in there. Now I'm not going to take this one out because this is my neighbor's. There's a little zip tie over it, but I'll show you the one I took out of my John Deere. All right, this is the 20 amp fuse. If you would end up pulling that out to check it, there's a little metal piece in there in the middle. If that metal piece is broken, that means your fuse is bad. So just change your fuse out and your mower will probably start up. All right, there are some, if you take this battery out, right here's the battery. You could probably take this battery out, and I think this whole plastic piece here will pop out. There's a little clip here and a clip there. You could pop this out. You could get in here and check some of the wiring in up under here. Or we go around right here where the oil is at. Another thing is you should check your oil. Make sure that oil is at the right level. You could check some of these wires right here. Make sure they're all connected nicely. This is your starter right here. If that ain't connected real well, that could be your problem. When you're pushing on this brake, it does have a safety switch on it, which is really hard to see, but down in here, this little gray plug, make sure that plug is plugged in, and all these wires do not look like no critters decided to chew on them. Because if that's not connected or these wires are chewed up, that could be your problem. All right, well, that's about it. I hope one of them really easy things was your problem and you were able to get your mower started. If not, and it is your carburetor or maybe your starter or a solenoid problem, you may have to take it to a local lawnmower repair shop or a small engine repair shop, or maybe even if you have a neighbor that's really good with engines, talk to them. Well, you can check out one of my other videos that I have on this same mower. Hit that subscribe button to help support my channel. Leave me a comment down below and hit that thumbs up button if you like this video. God bless and have a great summer.